Hey, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
How proud of you that your film is being showcased here at the Santa Barbara Film Festival?
Honestly, this is the dream for us. I mean, we shot here. We always hoped that we could land here. This is really the icing on the cake with the movie. With whatever happens at this point moving forward, the fact that we have this opportunity to celebrate the movie here is amazing.
Tell us where the idea originally came from, where she's in Portland.
Sure. I mean, actually, it was really a vision that I had of just trying to make a movie that focused on the Pacific Coast Highway, like as if it was like a third character in the movie. I was, when I first moved to Los Angeles, I was totally like inspired by Highway 1 and the ocean. I'm a Pisces, so I'm a fish, and really that's where it started. The films I had made in film school were sort of based on brotherhood themes, buddy films. And really after that, I just sort of drew from what I knew. You know, I understood what it was like to live in Los Angeles, try to make it as an artist, and the struggles that entails. And a lot of times I would call my friends back on the East Coast that I grew up with that picked completely different paths in their life, and I'd usually vent my struggles. But then soon after, I was starting to hear that they had their own problems too, and that the grass wasn't necessarily greener. And that's when I felt like, you know, not only was I hearing that they had problems, but their problems seemed a lot more magnified than my own. And it kind of made me realize that I was being a little myopic in my thinking, and that that's when I felt like I had something to say with the movie. And from there, you know, I just sort of started writing, and that's kind of what came of the movie. That's really, like, I think the gist of the inspiration behind the film. So.
Have you ever done the Pacific Coast Highway drive as a vacation for yourself before the movie?
A little bit. Before the movie, I had done it as vacation, and then I found myself doing it for work, and I did a ton of research on the setting of the PCH to really find my story. So I took a couple trips all the way to Portland, Oregon, you know, and stopping at various locations that then became sort of inspiration for scenes in the film. So yes, I have taken the drive for leisure and for work at this point, many times. So
it must be really special that this film being shown here, because Santa Barbara was one of the stops.
100%. I mean, and that's really a big part of this for us, is this sort of synchronicity of the fact that we shot here, and in particular in Isla Vista, and how much it meant to the story and how much of a personal attachment that section of the country is to both myself and one of our other producers on the film, Oren Skoog, who went to school there, who really kind of told me very early on, kind of gave me a lead in as to, like, kind of was telling me a lot about the college. And I had not really seen any of it until I went and witnessed it for myself, and I really found a ton of inspiration, and we're just really lucky that we were able to blend a part of that real life into this fictionalized story. And it's super exciting. This is the ultimate celebration for this film, because we're getting to share it with a community that got behind this film and worked on this film and threw all their sort of blood, sweat, and energy into helping us make this movie. It's awesome to be able to now share it with them. So it's the best part of this whole experience for me, is to be able to really share it with Santa Barbara and bring it to the community finally. So.
A lot of times for like an indie film, like something like this, it's really difficult to film an indie film, but you actually have to travel through multiple locations. Could you talk about the challenges with that?
Absolutely. I'm lucky enough to have an amazing. I was very lucky to have an amazing producer that had a lot of history and background working in locations prior to getting into being a producer, and I really leaned on him heavily to really right the ship, keep everything in line. And it was true, like, the stakes were high, because at every stop along the way, we had to get it, because we couldn't turn back. We shot, generally speaking, at least on the road, we shot everything in chronological order, because that's how it sort of worked out logistically with the shooting of it all. And it wasn't like we could come back and get it. So a lot of things had to happen, and a lot had to be planned. And I was lucky enough to have someone as willing and almost, this was a crazy thing to do for an independent film, and I needed someone that was fearless enough to to not compromise on these locations, which really mattered a lot to me for the vision of my film, was these locations. Like I wanted to, I found all these locations, and I didn't want to compromise these locations. And so in doing so, I needed someone that was willing to go the extra mile to make sure we actually shot there and were able to bring a certain production value to this movie on a small scale of an independent film. So, yeah, it was quite a challenge, but yeah, I'm just very, very lucky to have an amazing producer that was willing to do everything he could to make this happen. So.
And you had a special buddy duo cast, right? That you had to seek out, and it worked out well.
Yes, it did. Tommy Dewey and Francois Arnault. They, great actors. Tommy Dewey worked on a television show called Casual. Francois Arnault's worked on a television show called Blind Spot, and many others. Total sports. They knew what kind of production this was going to be. It was going to be a bare bones kind of run and gun shoot, and I needed two actors that not only were brilliant and talented and that worked well together, but were totally supportive of the indie nature that was this movie, and cooperative with anything that would happen. So I was very lucky to have them. And, they worked so well together too, and yeah, it's great.
Let's start to wrap things up. Could you talk about some of your future projects?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm working on two scripts right now. One that takes place in Italy. It's kind of it's a romance story that deals with themes of grief and acceptance, rites of passage, if you will. And the other one is sort of a mentor-mentee, fish out of water story that takes place in the Los Angeles area. So yeah, that's what I'm on right now. That's what I'm working on now. Hopefully I can get to do this again.
Before I let you go, I want to talk about the fourth character, the car. Where's that? Tell us about the car.
Sure. From the get-go, I had this idea of the blue ocean, the big, lush green mountains of California, and this popping tangerine orange Bronco. And it took a long time to find it, and I got it specifically for the movie, purchased it, and have recently sold it. But it is in the Bay Area at the moment with a lovely family, with this man and wife with their 3 children, and he's a big car guy, and he's so excited to see the movie now, and we're going to be showing it in Sonoma in a couple months, so he's going to come up for that. So I'm just happy that the Bronco is now in good hands with the great family, because it was a huge part of this movie and a very close piece of me for a very long period of time. So, yeah.
Excellent. Hey, thank you very much.
I tried. That was a little crazy there at the end. I hope that worked out.
It worked out. Thank you.